Welcome to another episode of the Lovers and Things podcast,
where your favorite couple's favorite couple
talks about the things they love.
'Cause there's a lot going on this week.
A lot going on this week.
I'm Greg.
And I am Lex, and welcome back to another episode,
Another episode, y'all.
You beautiful people.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, this has been quite a week.
It's been quite a week. I'd say it's been quite an interesting last 48 hours, 36 hours, 72 hours.
Yeah, but before we get into the check-ins, but sure. If you haven't caught on by now, but we're rap fans. And
very much so.
If you're a rap fan, you know that there's been a lot going on.
A lot of energy.
And we'll get into that. We'll crack into that and dissect that one and give our take in a little bit. So, but first,
I should say that's also a fair warning. This episode is going to be it's a little heady and a little rap focused. So for those of us who are just used to the normal gab from Lex and Greg, please pull up a chair and some tea, sip on this tea. But it's gonna be fun today.
Yeah. So how have you been outside of the chaos?
I'm doing well. I can't complain. You know what I'm tired of? I'm tired of bad weather though.
Bad weather.
I'm tired of New Jersey hitting us with these rainy evenings, these full rainy days. We get one day of good weather. I'm in a good mood. I'm outside walking. I'm having a good time.
Yeah.
And then the next day, it's a full day of overcloud and rain. I'm so tired of it. It's messing up my mood.
Yeah.
Messing up my mood.
Almost the whole weekend was this
cloudy,
shrouded in clouds.
Can we be done with it already, May? I mean, April showers bring May flowers. We're in May. I'm done with it.
I don't know what's going on. Yeah, and it's I'm fine when it rains during the week because I'm in the office anyway.
Yeah, I don't care.
But not when I'm trying to be outside on the weekend.
Like today, which is Sunday. Today was such a dreary, sad day. All I wanted to do was stay inside and sleep.
And that's exactly what you did.
That's exactly what I did. Outside of making a couple of fun errands or runs this morning.
So that's the thing you don't love?
That's the thing I don't. Yeah, I don't.
Weather?
What's happening? Where's the sun at? Where's the sun? Where's the fun? Where's the buns out, sun's out? I need that energy. If it don't get it together, I'm going to have to make a trip to Florida again because I just can't.
We did just come from there, didn't
we? You've been? How have you been?
I've got a thing that I don't love.
Oh, okay.
And this has been burning a hole in my spirit.
A hole in your
for the last couple of months.
Oh my goodness.
So I was at the barbershop.
Do tell.
I was at the barbershop getting a cut, and a lot of times barbershop, some people just hang out and just have conversations, and it's like it's like a watering hole. You get your hair cut, you might linger.
It's for the community.
Finish a conversation.
That's right.
And then there was a gentleman that was chatting, and tell me why he was clipping his nails with a nail clipper, right?
Okay.
And this is where my blood starts to boil.
Okay.
The nail shrapnel, is flying out of his digits.
You don't like that.
And landing on the floor.
You don't like that, yeah.
The nail clippings on the floor is wild. That's crazy.
You don't like that.
Could you imagine that?
See, yeah, I know that having lived with you forever at this point, you're very particular about certain things, and that is one in general. Like, you do not like clippings of nails to not be captured in a napkin or some sort of vessel to immediately be disposed of.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't like that.
A disposal apparatus must be used. It's unacceptable.
I think it's a little weird, and it's like a public place. I mean, it's a little strange.
And what if one of these nail shrapnels fly across and catch me in the eye?
Oh, because that's the thing about nail clippings. Very unpredictable.
Very unpredictable.
I agree.
Very unpredictable. That's a liability.
For sure.
Now, that's the thing that I don't love. But the thing I do love is here's a quick tip for you guys. Okay. Before you cut your nails, you like. It's best to cut your nails ideally after a shower.
Oh, here we go.
Immediately after a shower,
tricks.
the fingernails get softened.
Okay.
And then therefore, when you clip, no shrapnel, no flying shrapnel.
That makes sense because when you go to the nail salon to get a mani, they soak your nails. Have we gotten manis together, bro? Petties.
We got petties,
but no manis.
No manis.
Noted. We'll do that. I think you'll like it. But yeah, they soak your hands
Hmm.
and then they do the work on the soft nail and cuticle.
The soft nail.
You're
Yeah,
onto
but
something.
that was a thing I don't love, and I think everyone would agree with me that I that is just wild work.
Yeah,
That's
it is.
crazy.
That is crazy.
It took a lot for me not to say something
I'm sure it did.
with my cape on.
I'm sure.
It's like, sir, please, come on,
Sir, please,
take it outside.
please. This is unruly.
But yeah, I'm glad I got to, I'm glad that we have this space, lovers
Yeah.
and things, and I hope, people can empathize about what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
This is a place where it's kind of therapeutic. I can just let go of these heavy burdens that I'm carrying.
Really, Muffly?
Yes.
That's so great.
So I hope you, as well as the listeners, feel like this is a safe space to just divulge those things you love and things you don't love.
Listen, I fully agree. I agree. I love that you're opening that up to the audience.
Opening
as well.
it up, yeah.
Very nice.
But yeah, that was it. That's the only thing I wanted to talk about
That
today.
was burning a hole in the spirit, wasn't it? My
Yeah.
goodness. I love that for you, though.
Yeah. So, news.
News. Y'all, so we're about to get into it. We're about to get into the Drake v. the Kendrick Lamar beef that has been invigorating the community, the rap hip hop community over the last 72 hours.
And I'm excited because last week I complained about it being a 20v1.
Yeah.
Everybody and their mama trying to get in, get their licks in. It was distracting. It was hard to follow.
Yep.
And also it involved people that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Rick Ross and Kanye.
Oh,
It's
please.
like, come on,
Please.
get out of here.
Get out of here.
But now it's truly a 1v1 now.
It's a 1v1. And can I just say that this is great for the culture. This is great for the culture. Greg and I are rap fans, and that is a distinction that must be made.
Rap.
We are rap fans. We are fans of lyricism. We are fans of culture. We are fans of the rooted sort of energy that comes out of the rap culture. And so this is fun for us. And so also fair sort of warning here. I'm just be honest with y'all. I'm a Kendrick Lamar fan.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up, became familiar with Kendrick Lamar first around the overly dedicated era of his life, very, very early on in his career, like 2010. And so I have been following his trajectory since then. But likewise, and I think similar to you, we have seen Drake's trajectory and evolution over the last couple of years since his first album, which I do believe his first album was Come Back. Come Back was the very first one.
The original one.
The original. I think that was the first one. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Comeback season.
Comeback season.
Comeback season was his very first one because I remember I was just getting into college around that time.
Yeah.
So that's the Drake that I'm using, and that whole evolution. And he's been dropping summer albums like literally ever since then.
Yeah.
But like the evolution of Drake we have seen over this time. So to see these two sort of mega stars and the difference in their artistry sort of collide in this moment is cool.
Yeah.
It's cool.
And it's really puts the definition of rap on the table. It's like, really, what is rap? Is it strictly a Black American art form? Is it something that a Canadian artist can come in and contribute to? Who knows? But we all know what Kendrick thinks.
Yeah, we all know what Kendrick thinks.
And quite frankly, he thinks he's at the top of the art form.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah.
And he, that was the opening round, right? Like that track, like I talked about last time.
Yes, exactly. So let's go down the list. I think, guys, for those of you who aren't aware, over these last 72 hours, it has been back to back tracks from both of these artists live on their Instagrams, on their YouTube channels, on Apple Music in some cases for the ones that are straight bangers.
Yeah.
And we have been
YouTube,
enjoying it. It has literally just been pow, 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 pow,
Right.
pow.
What a time to be alive. Can we
What a time to
acknowledge
be alive.
the promptness
Yes.
of these track deliveries?
Yeah.
Back in the day.
It took a long time to
back in the day.
True.
It took a while to get a response.
It did, because the nature of the internet and the digital era was just so different. So it's interesting to see this level of rap battle being conducted this quickly.
Yeah.
Like these guys, like the minute someone puts out something, they in the studio creating an immediate response, and they're hitting send.
Yeah,
Hitting send.
yeah. And
I love it.
Because back in the day, I remember when Mace and Cameron, I was talking to you about it. Like Mace didn't respond to Cam in 6 years.
It took him a long time to get to that place.
Hey, he was joking about it on their pod, which is a great one.
Yeah.
It is what it is. He was saying like Mace was like he wanted him to get all his shots out before he responded. But clearly Kendrick wasn't waiting, and Drake has not been waiting.
Yeah, they haven't been waiting.
So yeah, let's go through the tracks
and give our hot takes because we have them. So last week Greg was talking about how the first track that kind of fueled this fire was the track Like That on the Metro Boomin and Future album. It's a Kendrick feature. It's not even a full Kendrick song. But in there, he mentions the fact that, again, it's not the big three, it's the big me.
Ooh, I got to use that.
I put it on a
That's
shirt.
A good one. That's a good one.
The big three is the big me. And so Drake promptly responded about a week or so later with push-ups.
Push-ups, yeah.
Push-ups.
Which was... It was good, and it was very direct. It wasn't like Kendrick was a little bit like he was a little bit bravado-y in the like that track, but in push-ups, Drake was coming for taking direct shots.
Yes, very direct shots.
That's your boy.
Very direct shots.
And his apparently size 7 shoe or whatever.
Right. I mean, the big.
So offensive.
It's funny. I think at that point the battle was funny. Like he's coming at Kendrick's height. He's talking about like him as an artist and his features and where he stands in the industry, and like it was fun. It was cute. It wasn't anything too heavy. But I thought the track was well produced. I thought the beat was amazing. And that's one that you can continue to play. So I was like, oh, this is cute. Cool. Yeah. Good job, Drake.
Yeah. Drake was up.
Yeah. And it was a quintessential Drake hip hop song as well. Like Drake in hip hop outside of his singy pop angle sounds like this.
Yeah.
And so I
think
what
he does best.
Yeah. And so I think for his fan base, they enjoyed it.
Yeah. It was a great track. What were some of the takeaway lines out of that one?
You ain't no big three.
You ain't in no big three.
You ain't in no big three. SZA got you wiped down. Travis got you wiped down.
Wipe me down.
Savage got you wiped down.
21 is out here, making call.
I feel like he's catching strays.
Nah, Savage is out here, watering his plants, touring, and enjoying this from the sideline. Shout out to all the rappers that ain't involved in this.
I know
they living their best lives,
having a very good time,
not having to deal with this.
But frankly, all of these people, Travis, Savage, they could never be a part of this conversation on their best day. So it's best that they just continue on with what they're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah. That was that. That came out on April the 13th, ironically enough.
Yeah, and then Drake, in true form, as we've seen him in his Pusha T beef, did a back-to-back with the tailor-made freestyle.
The tailor-made freestyle. This one, if we are grading the weight of track to track and what is valid and what is not, this one is disqualified for me only because Drake utilized AI in order to generate the voices of Tupac and Snoop Dogg on the track. So it's Drake's words with Tupac and Snoop's voices, which for a number of reasons is wildly disrespectful.
Wildly disrespectful. Out of control.
Wildly disrespectful to use Pac's voice on anything. And also Snoop Dogg is still alive. Like, what are we doing? He's literally got his hair wrapped in California somewhere enjoying his retirement.
Yeah.
Or the revenue of his cookbooks. What's happening?
Yeah, and there was a video you were showing me. The Snoop in the middle of the night in his slumber.
He's like, what?
Waking up from his peaceful rest and saying like, what is going on? Like, why am I being pulled into this?
Strange.
Especially without consent. To the point where the Tupac estate, the family, had put a cease and desist out there because
as they freaking should.
He's gone too far.
Like,
and then this is where I think Drake revealed his hand.
I would agree.
With regards to the respect of the rap art form.
Yeah.
Particularly the rap culture.
Yes.
And, throughout the years, everyone has, said that Drake's a culture vulture.
Yes.
And to just play with Tupac's voice, play with these icons, these legends' voice like that.
It's crazy.
It kind of makes me realize like truly where Drake stands on this. And he views rap as probably just another means to an end for him, and
Right.
not truly as a member of the culture.
And I think and we'll get into this, I think, when we get to our more closing statements or as we go through this list. But I think generally Drake is a divisive character in hip hop for that reason, because there are rap purists like ourselves who enjoy the art form, again, the culture, the history, and understand the roots of it as a Black American art form,
Yeah.
and respect it as such. There are people like Drake who are fans of the culture, fans of the art form, have found themselves in the mix of the art form, but don't respect it in the way that it should be respected, right? And I think it feels like throughout his career, he has taken special pieces from other musical genres within the diaspora, Jamaican music, Caribbean music, African music, and then made
grime
music
from the UK,
bounce music from Louisiana, and he's made moments of all these cultural entities, musical cultural entities, and then he just walks away from them.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm a dabble in this for a little bit, and then I'm gonna walk away from it. And that's where I think people have issue with him, or at least I find issue with his craft, is there's a way to appreciate things without feeling like you're taking away from it. And I think the Tailor-Made Freestyle is the perfect example of, like, you don't even respect the legends. Like, you don't even respect, like I said, Snoop is alive and breathing. You ain't call him, you ain't even, you were just gonna use that man's voice.
Could have just asked.
But you weren't going to do that
Yeah.
because Snoop would have said no.
It's some wild work.
Wild work. So
yeah, so I agree. That you might as well call that disqualified.
yeah, I don't qualify
can't
that
count
one.
that as anything.
That's not real.
Yeah.
So next. So that was dropped on April 19th. To Greg's point, I think that disrespect, because again, Kendrick, our boy, is from Compton. He is Cali all day.
Yeah.
He is been revered as almost the second coming of Pac in some circles. And so I think Drake, having done that, really, Kendrick was like, oh,
yeah.
so we're here
We're gonna
now.
disrespect the West Coast legends.
We're
All
here
right.
now.
Yeah. And Kendrick is, holds down the West Coast.
Yes.
And then, and also holds down rap.
Yes, it does.
The rap purist. So I think this is where, like you're saying, things turn personal.
Yes, it gets
And
personal.
then Kendrick drops Euphoria.
He drops Euphoria, which I just woke up and, I follow Kendrick and I was like, oh, there's something on Apple Music?
More
That's
Kendrick.
odd. That's not normal for Kendrick, because Kendrick will go years without talking, seeing, or doing anything to anyone. Like, I did not expect this from him. But Euphoria is in the track where I think Kendrick starts going for the jugular, where he starts making claims about Drake as a person, and his craft in ways that had to be rebutted.
Yeah.
But Euphoria is a classic Kendrick track to me, in that Kendrick does this thing often where he does a lot of storytelling in what he does. He uses different voices, different cadences in order to bring out these different characters to tell a story that he's going to tell. And Euphoria is the perfect example of that. He's also known for sampling like strong sort of 70s styles instrumentation in his tracks, really soulful stuff that feels very Black, Black culture, which is like undeniable in the sound. And this was like a classic Kendrick track to me, front to back.
Yeah.
And I loved it because he was going for Drake's neck.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
And it was it was a level of, I'm gonna say, accountability.
Yeah.
That I ain't never seen in rap before.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He was questioning his role as a father.
Yes, he was.
And his role as a man in general, to his peers.
Yep.
And then particularly his role in the rap industry as like a culture vulture, a scam artist, if you will. And it took Pusha T to get that cute baby Adonis out
We would have never seen him.
from under the covers.
We would have never seen Adonis. And I hope y'all know that. I hope y'all know if Pusha T had not come like that, we wouldn't know who Adonis was.
And Adonis would have been like living this life of like kind of like feeling probably hidden. And that's so unfortunate. And I'm not trying to say people gotta have all their kids out, but the turn at which now he's so public with the child, it makes you really question, like, what are your morals? What are your grounding?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? What's your integrity level like? What are you going to do when the lights are not on you?
Yeah.
And when the light was shine on the baby boy, you saw him pull up and start to to act, and I that's something that it's a weakness in Drake's past, and that was exposed, and Kendrick pulled on that thread.
He sure did. And I think when I think about Drake and the whole Adonis Pusha T situation, it's so interesting to me because we were talking about this earlier. Drake was a grown man. Like there's no
Yeah, it's like
people have
35,
babies
something like 30,
all
32, something
people
like
have babies all the time. People have babies with women they don't particularly love or care for all the time. Is it nice? No, but it happens, and no one judges you either way. So the fact that he was hiding the child is weird. It's like you're a grown man doing
Yeah.
grown man things, and you have a baby. Move
that.
on.
Yeah, and it's like this identity that he's so latched onto of that he felt like being a public and present father and active. Not even like he doesn't need to be so outward with it like online, but just acknowledging the truth and just being like, yeah, I got a kid, and rolling with it, not necessarily actively hiding it like a secret.
Yeah, so strange.
Just really really shines light on truly Drake's insecurity in his public persona, and I think you see that in all of the caricatures of rap and of art and music that he's made in the past. Is not really a who is truly what is Drake. You know, you kind of get a party guy lifestyle. You know, from what I recall from the period I was listening to.
Yep.
You know, he was tied into the Houston, Atlanta, Vegas lifestyle.
Yeah, again.
And that's what really stuck with me. But it really shows a weak and unstable foundation when you gotta hide stuff like that. But that, anyway. So
no, I fully agree.
So what does Kendrick do immediately thereafter?
Afterwards, Kendrick drops another single. This one is called 616 in LA. There's lots of speculation around what 616 means. Some people say that 616 is the Canadian Father's Day. Who knows? But
boy.
But this is where things also get a little muddy. Drake has at this point has not responded. But
I don't think he had time to.
I don't think he had time. Well, there were a couple of days in between there. But 616 in LA is to me the sort of grave digging. This is the grave digging. This is the meticulous Kendrick who again can literally just rap and be lyrical over bar after bar after bar. I don't know where he breathes, but this song has this really sort of like haunting minor tone, these kind of twingy tonalities in the instrumentation that makes it haunting.
Yeah.
And then like he is just slowly like digging this grave really.
And there's like an air of anger.
Yes.
Like a personal I hate you.
Yeah, if you
vibes
ever thought that Kendrick thought this was
track.
funny, he doesn't think this is funny. And he's very much trying to bury this man. And so what were your thoughts?
He pulled a Drake. He pulled it back to back.
Yeah.
And nobody thought Kendrick had it considering how slow he puts music out and also how sleepy some of his music can be.
Yeah.
Honestly, like some of Kendrick's tracks be a little washed feeling, then it's not really fun. And so when he drops that and it's a banger too, and it's back to back, it's like, oh, like he can do both. Drake ain't the only one that could do a back to back diss track, and it was great to witness that one, but it was super personal, and it felt like I was listening in on a conversation I probably shouldn't be hearing. Like,
it's like, oh,
like he basically calling out a part of his team, the bullying nature of the team and how they I guess from his claims taking advantage of people in the OVO label. But yeah, this one truly was eviscerating, if that's the word.
Yeah, for sure. This is the one where Kendrick begins to world build, because at first he's talking about Drake as an individual, as an artist, But then he starts to widen the lens a little bit and start talking about the people who support Drake, who he keeps around him. And you know what they say, your people say more about you than you do. Like who you keep around you, the individuals that you trust, the individuals that you call family and friends, are representation of you. And he starts peeling back the layers of who supports Drake and who he's spending his time with, who's in OVO. And yeah, that was really interesting to me. I will say the biggest critique that came out of this one, I think from the public, was that it is, to your point, a little sleepy because it is so minor and slow and like, but I think while that was the intention, it wasn't meant to be a bop. I think for some people who do not care to dig into the lyrics, it's boring.
Yeah. For sure.
And so that's the fair critique of that one.
Right.
Next, so Drake at this point has not come out with anything since April 19th. It is now May 3rd.
A diss record. But he was on Instagram.
Oh yeah,
you know,
petty Drake is always gonna be on the internet.
The Instagram version of a subtweet. It's like, just drop a record.
He was doing everything but dropping the record.
Yeah.
But he did on May 3rd. It's Family Matters, and this is where
it's a good one.
This is where I'm like,
it was a good one.
Oh my God, I wasn't prepared for this to be
that personal.
A bop. First of all,
right?
A bop. If you guys are not watching me on YouTube, I'm giving you a little. It was a bop.
It's a bop.
But also he revealed some information that the general public did not know about K-Dot.
Some fiery allegations.
And what were the allegations, babe?
Well, yeah, stuff about hitting up on women and alleged infidelity and abuse. You know, I cannot stand for any type of woman abuse.
Yes.
At all. That is where, as a man, I can't respect another man that goes that far.
Sure.
You lose all respect from me. So to call that out is such a like Kendrick was on the ropes, in my opinion. If this was like a boxing match, that was quite a blow to Kendrick's squeaky character. Not really that squeaky, but like
squeaky,
you know, poster boy of rap character, and to couple that with actually a bop as well is just like, okay, well, you got me. Well, you know, you got a good song and you're revealing a new information. I think that's a combination for a deadly diss track.
I agree. I had not heard, and as someone who keeps their ear to the streets, I had not heard rumors of Kendrick in any sort of domestic violence relationship with his long-term partner, Whitney, who he's been with since high school. They share 2 children together. I had not heard that. Whether or not it's true, I can't tell you. Yeah. But if it is true, I'm not with that. And so if that's what's happening behind closed doors with K-Dot, I'm not with it. But Drake using that as the ammunition for this, and then calling out his partner being of mixed heritage. Because here's the thing that we forgot to mention in the other one. In Euphoria, Kendrick mentions the fact that Drake, as a mixed person and not being a part of the culture, keeps using the N-word, keeps being a culture vulture, and like all that sort of stuff. And then Drake in Family Matters has to call out the fact that like your partner is like not fully black. Your wife, like a mixed queen. Like you have a mixed queen. Like what are we talking about right here? Which, ironic, there's one YouTuber or TikTok personality who mentioned the fact that the irony in the 20v1 and the angle of all of that with those other rappers is very much Drake's not black. He's using the word. Right. But then, and this is just a little piece of thought for you guys, had Drake's cultural composition, ethnic composition is often the preferred composition of rappers and men in that lifestyle. So
and their partners,
in their partners. Yeah. So because you often see these men, loving a light skinned mixed girl. They just love to have it
ethnically ambiguous.
Yeah. So the mixed boy gets the hate, but the mixed girl gets all the love, and the culture is weird. That is weird,
right?
And I think that's a bigger piece that we as a culture need to take back and decide why that is. Why we embrace it from a feminine perspective, but from a masculinity perspective, it makes them less valued. Yeah. And I don't. That's something to chew on. I don't have the answer, but it's something to chew on.
Yeah, the colorism is truly a problem in the culture. Kendrick's fiance or partner. From my understanding, they're high school sweethearts.
Yeah, they've been together for a while.
You know, I think it was a good shot.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting. It brought up like an interesting perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But if she was with you in the trenches, this is not the when you get on, you leave her, he leave your ass for a white girl type of situation, because she was with him
before he was anything at all.
while he was in the trenches.
Yeah.
So good shot, but I don't know.
Not the strongest.
But the record was great, though.
The record was great, and one of the things that we are going to mention is that he mentions the fact that Kendrick's Whitney, his partner, that second baby may not be from Kendrick. It may be from Dave Free, and that comes up later. The reason why I'm mentioning that is that it comes up later as well. So that's also an allegation that he threw out there, which is crazy.
Also, it's wild that we're bringing wives and
now we're bringing in but you know,
no one's safe.
When you do it, you do it. No one is safe. All right, so this is where things start to get heated. This is where I can't even go to bed good without somebody dropping something. Okay, so follow me, people. May 3rd, Kendrick drops 2 singles.
Yes.
616 in LA. Wait, no. 616 in LA happens on the same day that Family Matters happens from Drake. And then the very next day, Kendrick drops Meet the Grams.
And it's so Kendrick. It's so poetic.
It is.
It was so it's one of the things I love about rap.
Yeah.
Is where while I'm listening, I have a film reflecting what I'm hearing in my head. And it was so creative in that regard that I really appreciated the record for that. But it wasn't as much of a bop as the prior track, Family Matters.
Oh, Family Matters.
It wasn't
for
as bop. It wasn't as much of a bop as Family Matters, in my opinion.
No, not at all. And
it was a great track.
Yeah,
with great lyricism and the going through the family and the questioning, the conversation. It was really creative, and that's what Kendrick does best.
Yes, it's another classic Kendrick storytelling moment. He has these moments in almost all of his albums where he takes on a lot of character building, and again these different sort of stories and perspectives. He does it all the time. So he's speaking directly to Adonis, Drake's son. He speaks directly to Drake's mother. He speaks directly to Drake's father. And then the bomb that is dropped is that he speaks to some mystical 11-year-old daughter that we didn't know that Drake had. Drake doesn't think that he has, apparently.
Some alleged daughter.
So that was the bomb that was here. But I also think the most disrespectful thing is for another man to circumvent you and try to give your son fatherly wisdom. Right. That is so disrespectful.
That's very disrespectful. Like sunning your son.
Sunning your son is crazy.
Sunning your son is wild work.
The track starts off with Dear Adonis, comma. He's literally writing notes of wisdom to Drake's son because he says his father can't do it, and that to me is insanity.
Yeah, and then Kendrick doesn't miss an opportunity to call out Drake's BBL Drizzy.
he stayed talking about this man's surgery, which at this point
his 6-pack, his build a nose, whatever alleged body modifications Drizzy has gone through.
It's crazy.
Which is, I think, so petty and hilarious to me because it's so ridiculous.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
And I love it. So this one to me was another, again, it's not a radio track. It's not. But if you are someone who enjoys lyricism and storytelling, you're going to eat it up.
Yeah.
You're going to eat it up because it's good.
Yeah. And at this point, we were in the car we're preparing for this show.
Yeah.
And we're in the car. It's like, let's rate, let's give our score. Because at this point, we're like, okay, this is it. They both fired off. And it kind of felt like this is kind of where things are done.
Yep.
And then I scored it Drake.
Yeah, you had scored it Drake.
Off of the kind of revealing of new information in the bop. Having a good record that slaps.
Yeah.
And then what did you do?
I'd rated it a tie. And I did that because I thought that what Drake had revealed about Kendrick was information we had not heard before. Some of the themes that were coming from Kendrick were things that we had heard about Drake, and in retrospect, actually confirms the things that he was saying, because
Yeah.
there are things that other people can also verify, as opposed to strange things we've never heard before. But I also felt that like Drake really had something special going with Family Matters. I thought, to your point, it was a bop, but then the argument in my mind was like, is when we're rap beefing and we're going bar for bar, does it matter if the song is a club hit? Does it matter if it's radio playable? And the argument from you was absolutely it must be. Yeah. And in my mind, I'm like, no, it's about the lyricism. Yeah. It's about the art. What is the art? Because that's the thing. Drake creates a bop, but he's not a lyricist like that. I mean, he's close. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, Drake isn't terrible, but he's not one of the greatest lyricists we've ever seen. And so for me, I gave it a tie because I weighed both of those things into consideration.
So then what does Kendrick drop immediately there?
Because Kendrick heard y'all saying that it wasn't a bop, and he created, to me, and
my God. Tell
if
the
y'all
people what
could
he
see
dropped.
me, Kendrick created one of the best diss tracks of all time, a certified 2024 summer banger, a West Coast freaking anthem.
Yeah.
In Not Like Us.
Not Like Us. It's
They not like us. They not like us.
They not
What is
like
happening?
us.
He brought
They
out
not like
DJ
us.
Mustard. I haven't heard Mustard name. Where Mustard been?
Now Mustard wrong for that.
Mustard
is wrong for that.
Mustard must do time. Mustard
He's wrong for giving
this
that beat up
is so nasty.
during war times.
Oh my God.
That bop.
I can't talk.
When a diss track is a summer record,
Oh my God.
it's a problem. It is a problem. He dropped that record like last night at like 10 p.m.
We were literally,
which is also petty because that's everybody's heading out
crazy.
for the night.
I just know the Bay was lit up 12 p. That I know the Bay was lit up in the club that night. You heard nothing else in the streets that night.
You heard nothing else in our house that night because the speaker was playing that track. What a record! What a record!
Oh my God!
And the thing, and that was literally what I said Kendrick needed.
And then 2 hours later, he drops.
And then
literally 2 hours later.
My mind was blown. What a record!
It's
that record
crazy.
Was nuclear.
Oh, and then
the group chat, the dust. We had a group chat that had some dust collecting on it.
Okay, the male group chat. Yeah.
That record blew the group chat open, and then we were all just going and debating this whole situation. That was quite the record.
It's a phenomenal record, and you guys have to understand the strength on which this record stands. DJ Mustard is a West Coast production legend.
Yeah, from LA.
Mustard is that guy. The minute you hear Mustard on the beat, you just know it's about to be a problem. So you get Mustard, and then you get K-Dot, who's on there and just going with that really nasty lyrical West Coast flow. I gotta go to bed.
Oh my God!
I gotta go to bed.
You got a bit of E40 in it. You got a bit of Snoop in it. You got a bit of Pac in it. You got like you can feel, and it's like it was for all of rap.
Yeah.
And like
that's for the people.
Rap is a uniquely Black American art form.
Absolutely is.
So this has always been the friction with Drake is his role, his involvement in the street culture and rap culture. From a hip hop perspective, I think Drake is perfect in hip hop.
I agree.
He's the best at it. But when you dip into them rap streets, you know, you might have to answer to some rap beef, and then clearly he had to deal with a lot of it.
Yeah.
But this record in particular calls out some stuff about the OVO group that is very ashamed. If all these allegations are true, it's a shame. And the album cover is the shadiest record cover I've ever seen.
Of all time.
It's a photo of Drake's home, and then the sexual predator icons all over the house, which
accessible to the public.
The levels of pettiness.
Oh my God.
That you had to create that type of cover is is another level.
Yeah, the big claims that came out of this one are him doubling down on the fact that Drake hey Drake, I heard you like I'm young. Like the whole point is that Drake is interested in young girls. There have been a few accounts of Drake doing some questionable things with underage girls, not sexually, but socially, conversationally. I just need to make that distinction. And so he also called out the fact that there are so many people in Drake's crew who are also registered sex offenders, either by way of sex trafficking, sexual assault, which is why the cover for this single is like legit. That is it is what it is. And so yeah, like this track to me, I think was kind of like the piece de resistance. And I was like, after this, I think we're done.
It's done.
Because Kendrick was just having fun on this track. Like everything about it was just like bar for bar. If you break it down,
He went off.
bar for bar, and we're talking about 16 count against 16 count, it is quite literally boom, boom, boom.
And then
boom,
you have
boom.
an amazing hook.
You have simple. And the
amazing.
thing about
They're
it
not like
is,
us, and that's just
it's the galvanizing statement of Drake is different. Him and his people different.
Yeah.
Us, the culture, the people, us, they not like us.
Yeah.
That's crazy smart.
Yeah, and in this, I think if you go back and the thing about it is we've been witnessing Drake's rise from the very beginning of the Young Money, Cash Money days. When he first came out and was dropping some amazing records. You know, So Far Gone. That was top played album in my iTunes for a minute. See,
For sure.
this is iTunes days, y'all.
For sure. Yeah. Oh God.
On the laptop.
We're aging ourselves.
On the iPod.
Yeah.
Amazing artist. But the thing about, and I remember when he turned street, and I remember watching this music video. It probably was when riding through the six with my woes.
That was exactly
record,
it.
and I was just like, Drake rides through with woes.
Drake rides through.
Drake who? Like
Very confusing.
wasn't he the actor, the child actor that was
There
very
was a
successful
switch.
on Degrassi, and
There was a switch.
so that was very odd, and then it was met with a lot of opposition back then. This is like early 2010s probably, but it really catapulted his career because
Absolutely.
you remember he had a bit of a dip.
He did.
And that really pushed his career, and I think it allowed him to reach out to audiences that are not necessarily tied into street culture.
Yep.
And I think he's a very palatable artist,
He is.
and he seems very safe. So to layer in a bit of a street grunge to it is a marketing package that is very attractive. So They Not Like Us, it hits home.
It does.
Because objectively, like he wasn't in the trenches.
No.
He doesn't know anything about the street life per se. He hasn't lived it. He's in some ways co-opted it. And there is the cultural appropriation aspect of that's always been a criticism of Drake, because I never really knew who he is.
Yeah.
And hopping, like you mentioned earlier, hopping on all these different type of art, music forms, kind of getting in and out, always never really sat well with me.
Yeah, it's an interesting phenomenon, because I don't doubt that Drake is a phenomenal artist. I don't even think this rap beef disqualifies him as a phenomenal artist in the work that he's done. He's good for hip hop culture. He is. But I think that this conversation is about rap. In rap, hip hop is a larger sort of cultural phenomenon that encompasses all the things that kind of stem from rap culture. It's the larger piece of it. Rap is a specific art form that exists within hip hop.
Yeah, and there's some overlap. But
sure.
there's a lot of rap records that you would not put in a hip hop category.
And y'all see it all the time. Like there are two different categories at the Grammys for the reason. Like there are two different categories of artistry. And so I think if Drake were to sit comfortably in the hip hop category, which he has done for the majority of his career, he's fine. But then you start trying to act like you going toe for toe, bar to bar with the best rap lyricist of our time, and you're not going to be able to win the fight, in my opinion. And I think for the generalist, the hip hop generalist, they don't understand that nuance of this conversation. No one's
rap
saying,
casuals,
the rap
as they say.
casuals. No one's saying that Drake isn't a good artist. No one's saying that he's not a successful hip hop artist. No one's saying that he's not talented. he's just not the best rap artist. He's just
Right.
not.
And I blame y'all. Y'all for making this big three. Because y'all said
It's
it.
y'all fault.
Y'all said
I would have
Drake,
never done it.
Cole, Kendrick, and apparently Future is fourth spot. I think
Y'all are
Kanye should have been in
losing
that.
it. Y'all are losing
I think
it.
some of the artwork Kanye's done, but
Losing
then again,
it.
like from a rap perspective, I like Kanye in the sense of
I
the
do
the storytelling, and I've always loved that in rap.
I do too.
So I blame y'all.
Yeah,
Like,
it's y'all fault that we even having this
Y'all-
conversation.
it's y'all
Y'all
fault that
gave Drake footing to think that he could respectfully disrespect
Ooh.
Tupac
oh boy,
on that track. Like
Yeah.
that's y'all gave him room to think that was okay. That is someone who comes
Yeah.
in and views the culture as something cute and fun to play with, to use when they want to use. And
Yeah.
that's my only
and
concern
now
about
and then
Drake.
now Drake out here fighting for his life
He
because
fighting for his
y'all
life.
pulled him into a fight he wasn't ready for.
Literally 2 hours before we recorded this, because we hadn't heard from Drake in a minute, at least a day or so. He drops The Heart Part 6, and to
that's
me,
the response to "They Not Like Us,"
the
which
response
is
to They Not Like Us. And can I just say, this is the end of the battle. I don't foresee Kendrick responding because he's quite literally, like I said, dropped one of the best records in rap history, the certified summer banger of 2024.
yes, we're gonna be playing that in the backyard,
Like,
charcuterie.
right. If y'all come to our summer kickback,
They Not Like Us is gonna be there, and I'm giving y'all
playing.
French 75s.
French 75s and ribs because balance.
And ribs.
You know what I'm saying? But
and They Not Like Us gonna be playing on the speakers.
Not like it's gonna be playing. The Heart Part 6, not so much. The Heart Part 6 to me though sonically sounds so much like what Drake used to do back in his Take Care era.
Yeah.
So frankly, this sort of long, sort of lyrical lamenting is what he's good at.
Yeah.
It's what he's built his career on. So for Drake, I like it. For the beef, for the battle,
It's a little flat.
it's a little flat.
Yeah, it was a little flat. Yeah, for us, the only response to Heat, like that track, Not Like Us, is even hotter tracks. Like it needed to be another summer banger that we
Had
playing
to be.
at the barbecue alongside the mimosas and the crepes. Okay,
And the crepes.
we needed another summer banger, and quite frankly, the Heart Part 6 is not really a summer banger. He did, but I think he needed a response to the allegations because those allegations are pretty aggressive.
The allegations were wild.
The child stuff, the underage stuff.
A minor. I'm sorry. There's
yeah,
so many bars. There's so
you got to
many
respond
bars.
to that, and I think this is a nice moment to bow out.
Yeah, I do too.
Let's just call it. The game
That's
is
what it
done.
is. I agree.
I don't think Kendrick should respond at all.
I don't anticipate he will. He's up right now.
He's up. I love the idea of silence.
Yeah.
Sometimes silence is a great response. I think sitting comfortably on that track, They're Not Like Us, is enough.
I do too.
Yeah.
I'd be disappointed, frankly, if Kendrick said anything else because I think the culture is showing that like that's the song. We literally clicked on it. I saw it pop on my YouTube. It had been live 34 minutes. By the time we had finished listening to the track, it was at 900,000 listens.
Yeah. It's
what?
infectious.
It's
And we've
crazy.
played it at least 10 times.
Oh yeah.
Us. I don't know how many
Together.
times you played on your
Oh,
own.
I played it all day. I played it no less than 7 times today.
We played it in the car.
Yeah.
It's a bop.
Yeah. It's
We
on
played
Apple
it-
Music, by the way. So
It's on-
now I
it's
can.
good quality.
Good quality.
And we played on the speaker in the house.
Yeah.
It's a bop.
It's a pop.
It's a bop. Now I got to play it on my AirPods now. See what it hits.
Ooh, I'm a car listener, guys. Like if I'm ever really trying to get into some music, I have to listen to it in the car. Call me old school, but
Yeah.
I have to get the full
Surround.
I have to get the full thing.
Yeah. Wow. What a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive. I will say the Heart Part 6 addresses some of the rumors head on, which I like. Drake says, I ain't got no daughter. In fact, that information was fed to you, Kendrick, from my team. You took the bait. Ha ha ha. And then there's also Drake saying that he
Never
he isn't a
mess with-
pedophile.
yeah.
He doesn't mess with young girls because he's too rich for that. And he would have gone to jail by now, which is a terrible rebuttal. But do what you
Prove it.
will. Yeah. Prove it. I'm rich and famous and I
Yeah.
would be gone by now. Not true.
Well, yeah.
But that was the beef, y'all.
Yeah,
Woo, we did God's work there,
that was
McGee.
something. But I think the biggest takeaway from Drake, and I think the centerpiece of this is Drake, in my opinion, because, you know, Kendrick is the epitome of a rapper, right? Whereas Drake is someone is super talented and has tapped into various art forms through music. And one of the biggest criticisms that stood out is I think is Drake's lack of evolution
Yeah.
over the years. Even he's 37 now,
Yes.
and most recently there was a moment where he's with what's her name, Sexy Red, with the duck lips and then the barrettes in the hair, and it's giving a little adolescent to
Yeah.
me. It's
Yeah.
giving a bit of arrested development, and I think for people it's important to evolve over time, and I think we should really honor ourselves in that journey, in that experience, and accepting the different seasons of your life with grace, and honestly living through it.
Yeah.
You know.
I fully agree. And I think that to me has been the most striking thing about Drake as an artist, to your point, is the lack of evolution. And I think he really sits comfortably in being the popular favorite. But the problem with that is that popularity or pop music is a generational game. Right? It's a generational game. And so wanting to constantly be the popular artist means you are going to constantly be pandering to a younger audience. And I think what we would have liked to see was him evolving, talking about things that are a little bit different, talking about his life as a father. I ain't never heard him talk about the baby for real yet. We what's it like to, at the stage in life he's a little more matured, he's to look back on his life and see things he wish he had done differently. Like that sort of introspective work through the artistry would have been nice to see.
And I love
but
that.
we don't get that from Drake.
Yeah.
We get bops, but we don't get the evolution of person, and you see it in how he moves. Like that Sexy Red thing to me, not that there's anything wrong with her as an artist,
and nothing even wrong taking a cute photo with a person, but
we don't never see you with like change makers. We don't ever see you posted up with legends. Like it's an interesting perspective.
Yeah, I want him to really tap into himself as a man, because he's approaching 40, and I really want him to accept what is actually happening around him, and be confident in what's actually happening around him, and craft a life that is more reflective of an evolved, successful man. And I'd love to see his version of a 444, right? Eventually, when he gets there, I'd love to see his version of a My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, a work of art that reflects, who he is, who he's going through, and even if it's not necessarily through a music, in other acts that he could do, maybe if he even evolves and creates more art that's more varied, like for example 50 Cent evolving and creating great television shows. That's evolution, even if it's not explicitly in rap music. And I'd love to see that.
I do too, because I think there's a space for Drake in hip-hop. Obviously in the industry he's well liked, well supported, and has a huge fan base.
Super prolific.
Prolific, and I think he has the opportunity to grow, and this may be his moment. Like this is kind of a make or break moment, like deciding who he's going to be from this moment forward, because his fan base is going to love him no matter what, just like I loved Kendrick no matter what. Kendrick was never going to lose to me anyway,
right?
But that's my fandom.
And I love a Drake summer record. He does that. He's one of the best at it.
Yeah, he's one of the best at it. So we'll see. So much to learn from this. We always like to take larger sort of pieces of the conversation and make some thoughts for you guys to take home. But personal evolution is important, and I think to Kendrick's credit, and to some people it's what makes him boring, but his artistry has evolved. If you think about him from even Good Kid, Mad City to Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, and that's only like half of his discography. That's a huge evolution, and he's often critiqued for not putting out albums often, but when he puts out albums, they're cultural supernovas. Like
Oh yeah.
they're massive. And so, the quality versus quantity situation, but I think
That's always a discussion point.
yeah, there's always a discussion point, but there's space for both of them to exist. And I hope this beef showcases that. And at
Yeah.
the end of the day, like the internet's been saying, the culture wins.
We all
Because
win at the end of the day.
we got the music. I've never seen Kenny do this sort of work. And as a super fan, I'm like, he
Yeah.
is in rare form.
I'd love to see them take a little bit from each other.
Yeah, I agree.
Drake put a little bit more introspectiveness in his
did.
music.
He did.
And then Kendrick drop a few more records. Give us an album here and now
Give
then.
us an album. We're ready. We're ready.
But
good stuff.
I think, would you like to just jump into things we love?
Yeah, let's just
Yeah.
jump into things we love. So things we love. So
Shimmer, 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 shimmer.
we were here we go. Things we love. Now I'm wondering if the things
I'm
we
sorry. I'm sorry.
God. Okay. Well, that's
I
appropriate
just got carried away.
for the bangers.
My bad. y'all.
But things we love. So this week's things we love is a mix of things we love and things we hate, similar to our sort of breakdown of the Drake and Kendrick beef. There's things we loved in that, and there's things that we hated in that. So this week's things we love is a little bit of a hodgepodge, and we are going to be speaking to Unitaskers.
Yeah, because basically the idea of evolution
Mhm.
is being a multifaceted person
Yeah, don't be a
and
unitasker.
evolving in life. And and there's a thing that we don't love in a sense of unitaskers,
Yep.
things in our home that does just take up space in the house. It just does one thing.
They ain't evolved, child. They ain't
Who was it?
evolved.
Alton Brown. Alton Brown coined the term.
Legend.
Yeah, from Food Network.
Love
If
Alton.
you don't know Alton Brown, are you even a
If
Lovers
you don't
and
know
Things
Alton Brown,
fan?
you don't know how to cook. I'm convinced Alton Brown taught us all
Right.
how to cook for real.
Yeah. Good eats, right?
Good eats.
So
Love
he
that show.
coined the term unitaskers, calling out kitchen gadgets that
Mhm.
only do one thing and take up space
Yeah,
in
yeah,
your
yeah.
kitchen.
Uh-huh.
And some of them can get pretty ridiculous,
Sure.
right? So I think we should go and share with everyone our things we don't love,
Mm-hmm.
unitasker edition, and maybe we could share the things we do love that are
Yep.
like, what's the word? Venerable? What powerful, multifaceted home
Yes.
tools that you can use for multiple different things.
Absolutely, because there's room for both. I'll go first.
Sure.
I hate the toaster oven.
Thing you don't love?
The thing I don't love is a toaster oven.
Oh boy,
And
this is where
I
we have a house
find
divided.
our house divided. We have one. We've had one for years. Greg used to keep it on the counter. Used to take up so much space. It's so annoying. And let me tell you why. Because if I want to toast something, I'll put it in the oven and broil it.
Y'all, she gonna light up
I
a big
will
she
do
will
it.
she will light up a big old oven
Yes,
to mildly toast one side of some bread.
I sure will. I don't like having cluttered counter
It's called
space.
overkill.
And
That's what that's called.
how often am I toasting something? We're not a bready household.
We're not a bready household.
We're
but
not bready. So why do I need this thing on my counter that I'm going to use once a month?
I grew up on toaster ovens.
Okay,
Okay.
and I respect it.
I grew up on toasters.
Okay.
And then we evolved
Mhm.
to toaster ovens, right?
Now, if it was just a toaster, I may let it slide. I like the idea of a little patty.
Now that's a unitasker.
A
You talk about
patty.
unitasker, a toaster is a unitasker. A toaster oven, you could put like, a small bagel bites. We don't buy those. We don't eat those. But if we ever had a bagel
should.
bite,
That's
put them
bring
in
that
there.
back.
You could, heat up a Frank. That's your word. You be calling them Franks.
Heating up no Frank. I ain't heating up no Frank.
You know what I mean?
Greg.
Like you could mildly toast some bread. You don't need to turn up all this gas on the gas stove and heat up the whole house. Consume so much energy.
Or better
toast some
yet,
bread?
Or better yet, let me do you one better. I'm gonna take a skillet, put some butter on it, and I'm gonna toast it real
Well, now
nice
you see
like
that. You
that.
got me. You put a little butter on that. You got
You
some
can't do that in the
Kerrygold.
toaster oven.
You
All
got
I'm
me.
saying is there are better ways to toast your bagel.
Oh boy.
That's all I'm saying.
House divided.
What about you? What's the thing that you actually like?
So, well, I got a thing I don't love. I wanna
Oh, you want to
follow
go dolo?
on
Okay,
thing I
sure.
don't love. Thing I don't love is a potato masher.
Again, a house divided. I like those.
AKA a drawer stopper.
What?
If anyone has had a potato masher in their drawers, you go to pull that thing, it will not open. A potato masher is always
Okay,
blocking a drawer from being open. I can't stand a potato masher. It's too big. It's too awkwardly spaced. You know what they need to make? audio copyright, because this is about to be a great idea.
Audio copyright 2024.
A collapsible potato masher.
Okay, I see the
You
vision.
follow me?
I see the vision.
It's a new product. Put that on the site.
Yeah,
Right?
I'm gonna.
Would y'all buy a collapsible potato masher?
If it meant that your drawers
give
would
a
be
Unitasker.
clutter free.
But every time I go to pull a drawer, well, guess what? I gotta like weasel my hand through the drawer and then move the potato masher
Yeah.
up out the way.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. That's all I'll say is that you're
it's
not
too
wrong.
cumbersome. It's not a great tool. And then how much mashed potatoes are we actually eating?
Yeah, similar to the toaster oven theory, not enough to warrant it disrupting your daily life.
So I have a solution. Let's put the potato masher in the toaster oven or in long-term storage.
And when we need it,
We
we'll
go
get
back.
it.
Yeah, when I'll make some bread,
Fair
you make
enough.
some mashed potatoes.
Yeah, which is like once a quarter.
See, compromise, y'all. This is why we're a successful couple.
I love that for us.
Compromise.
Amen.
So you got some things you do love?
Yeah, one thing that I actually do love, and it's not necessarily a Unitasker, technically it does lots of stuff, is the Instant Pot.
Oh,
Yeah.
Y'all forgot about the Instant Pot.
Y'all forgot about the Instant. Y'all been so busy trying to air fry your lives away that you forgot about the Instant Pot. The Instant Pot is legendary in the
Iconic.
kitchen streets.
Iconic.
Iconic, and it does so much. Now, I personally love my Instant Pot, particularly around the holiday season when I'm trying to move through things quickly.
What do
You
you
know
mean
what
by
I'm
that?
saying? Like sometimes, and some people are going to like, shame me for this. But sometimes I like to cook a batch of greens in the Instant Pot.
Oh, cheat
Now,
code.
there's nothing like having your greens slow stewed in the green pot. I know that, ladies. I know that turkey. I get it. I get it. But sometimes,
Yeah.
if you're having people over, this isn't Thanksgiving. We just want a little light green.
Yeah,
We'll do it in the Instant Pot.
that's
We'll do the
smart.
Instant Pot.
That sounds
I
smart.
love it. You get to do your same, your same little stuff with your meat, and you put it in there. But you do the same thing. It just cooks a little bit faster.
I love it.
Especially if you're cooking large batches and you need to move them quickly.
through
You
it.
don't have a lot of time.
It's apparently, can't you make yogurt in an Instant Pot?
I haven't done that yet, but
Is
you
that
can
like a
do a
thing?
lot of things. You can do bread in there, yogurts in there, obviously your rices. Soups are fantastic. We've done lots of soups
like
in
with
there.
like heavy meats, like beef.
Yeah, things that have to
great
break
for that.
down.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, my Instant Pot, I absolutely love it. It doesn't sit on the counter. It's not out all the time, but when I use it, I'm in it. With
You
the
in
Instant
it?
Pot.
I love that.
Yes, sir.
I have a thing I love.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've mentioned this before a year or two ago on the pod. Can't believe
Yeah.
we've been recording over a year. I don't think it's been
That's
2
great.
years yet, but
Not yet, not yet.
an all-clad stainless steel pan.
You are a proponent of the all clad.
That is a juggernaut in the household. Them things,
Mm-hmm.
you could throw it down a flight of stairs. It'll make it out in one piece. They are great at cooking a variety of dishes. Crack your eggs into them. You can saute some vegetables, cook
Mm-hmm.
some fish. Like and you get a big enough pan, you could probably cook 2 meals on it at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Saute vegetables on one side and then get your fish cooking on the other side.
Sure.
Everyone needs a stainless steel pan.
Mm-hmm.
Throw the nonsticks out. I'm saying it. I'm gonna say it. Throw the nonsticks
I
out.
co-sign that.
Go all the way in.
Yeah.
Go all the way in.
Mm-hmm.
And then the thing about a stainless steel pan, you have to cook it. You have to cook it a very particular type of way.
Yo, when we first got our all clads, we were messing up left and right. It is a learning curve.
You gotta heat the pan up. It's very important. But once you figure out that balance of heating it up, doing that mercury effect with water, throwing oil in there, it's worth it because you don't have to work. It'll last way longer than a nonstick pan. It'll behave like a nonstick pan, but it'll last, over 100 years. Like these things will not. It's like a Lodge cast iron pan. They're not going anywhere.
Yep.
So a stainless steel pan is the thing that I love as an anti-unitasker, aka a multitasker.
AKA a multitasker.
Yeah, it's a strong kitchen tool.
Very nice, baby. Very good.
Yeah. So those are the things we love and things we don't love,
Yeah.
Unitaskers.
A la the Drake and Kendrick beef.
Evolution. It's all about evolution.
All about
We always
evolution,
find a way to
people.
tie it in, right?
We try.
We try. We be reaching, but we got there. Let us know if there's anything that you find to be a unitasker that you think is not needed in a house.
Yeah.
You find a lot of those things in the kitchen.
You know, y'all got some of them as seen on TV Unitaskers in your home. Drop on down in the comments, YouTube, Instagram, and tell us like which one of those you like. I should not have bought that carrot slicer.
Right, yeah, the carrot slicer.
I should have never done that.
I saw one on Instagram where there's this thing that like you swirl around a potato and it just makes it like an accordion style.
Oh, why do you need that?
Have you heard of a knife?
Yeah, like have you heard of a knife? Just cut the potato.
Yeah, but
Yeah, curious to know.
And also, I guess while you're listening, hit like on YouTube if you're on
Oh
YouTube.
yeah,
Like the video.
y'all know y'all homework. Like,
Subscribe on the video.
Subscribe, and I want to see y'all get busy in the comments. The comments have not been busy. The comments have been, very much out of office.
Yeah.
I need y'all to get busy in these comments. Tell us your take on the Drake and Kendrick beef. And if you haven't listened to any of the songs, that's okay. Tell us what you think based on what we told you today. Unitaskers, what's been going on in your life? This is a community, y'all. So let's see y'all get interactive in the comments this week.
Yeah, and share the show. I know a lot of y'all is probably in your group chats talking about the beef. Drop this link in your group chat to share our takes, and you can continue the discussion.
Absolutely. We look forward to it.
Yeah, but this was yet another episode of the Lovers and Things podcast. Keep loving the things.
And loving your people. It's so important.
Love y'all.
Bye.
Bye.